Jeff, we have to start hunting legends that are close to the road.
Sometimes to get to the good stuff, you gotta work for it.
Yeah.
And that's why we're making this 1.5-mile trek to the east side of Bear Mountain, right here in Wallingford, Vermont.
All right, what are we trying to find here?
We're looking for a crime scene, Ray. The site of the Patch Hollow Massacre. I'm Jeff Belanger.
And I'm Ray Auger, and welcome to episode 65 of the New England Legends podcast. If you give us about 10 minutes, we'll give you something strange to talk about today.
We're on a mission to chronicle every legend in New England, one story in 1 week at a time.
We are.
And speaking of great legends, we still have a few of the 2019 Haunted New England wall calendars left. This calendar features stories I gathered from all over New England, paired up with the eerie photography of Frank Grace.
I'm looking at one right now as we speak.
I know. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
I carry it around with me when we hike.
On
Location.
Right.
Always have one in my back pocket.
And if you want to get one for yourself out there as a holiday gift for that spooky person in your life, you can visit our website at ournewenglandlegends.com and click on the calendar. It's right on the right-hand side of the page. But once the supplies are gone, they're gone.
All right, so Jeff, we're hiking to a massacre site.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to find bodies or something like that?
No bodies anymore.
All right.
I'm not sure what we'll find. This massacre took place in 1831 here on the north side of the Green Mountain National Forest.
All right, let's set the stage here. Now, a lot of what we know about this event we get from the book History of Wallingford, Vermont by Walter Thorpe.
Right.
It was published in 1911.
Thorpe describes the neighborhood in these woods back in the early 1800s. There used to be 5 houses in this hollow. There's Luther Hale, who made wooden plows for the farmers in the region. David Patch, who built a large house here for his sizable family. Then the house of Simon Patch, and another house for Edmund Patch.
I think I can guess how the area got its name, Patch Hollow now.
You'd probably be right.
But the house we're looking for, the 5th house, that belongs to Rolon Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, the house was a log cabin about 24 feet by 18 feet.
Okay.
It was built here in Patch Hollow because Rolon married David Patch's daughter.
Oh, okay.
She wanted to stay close to Mom and Dad, of course.
Right. And so Wheeler's been described as a man of violent passions and jealous disposition.
Doesn't it always seem like the most jealous people are the ones that are up to no good?
Yeah, no, I get it. It's like that jealousy comes from a guilty place. And that would be true of Rolon Wheeler. It doesn't take long for rumors to start circulating around Patch Hollow that Rolon is guilty of having indiscretions with his wife's sister.
Good God. In a community with 5 homes, with 4 of them holding members of the Patch family,
Right.
I bet news traveled fast, right?
Yeah.
I can imagine it would be impossible for someone to fart without everyone knowing about it.
And you'd be right, Ray. It's a small town like times 1,000. But this indiscretion spreads further than Patch Hollow. People from the village of Sugar Hill hear about it, and even Shrewsbury, just north of Wallingford. Soon a mob forms.
Wow.
And they intend to tar and feather Rolon Wheeler and then ride him on a rail.
All right. I've heard of tarring and feathering, but riding the rail, that's kind of new to me.
Right?
So I looked it up.
Okay.
First, tarring and feathering sounds kind of funny.
It does.
I mean, you're going to look like a giant chicken when it's over. And in general, giant chickens are pretty funny.
They are. And tarring and feathering kind of sounds hysterical,
It does.
until you fully understand what it entails.
Well, the practice dates back at least to King Richard the Lionheart in 1189.
That's a long way.
It is. If a soldier was found guilty of stealing from a fellow crusader, he was to be shaved, dipped in a vat of boiling pitch, and then covered in feathers. The thief would then be left stranded.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was understood that truly boiling tar could kill you.
Oh, yeah,
so
I can imagine.
they just let it cool, just enough.
Right.
But still, it was common to suffer 2nd or 3rd degree burns from this treatment. The feathers were merely a decoration.
And after getting paraded around town and thoroughly humiliated, the accused was left to deal with the mess.
Right.
And when the tar cooled, as you peel it off, you're going to lose some skin, which left behind scars of shame.
Pine tar was commonly used, which melts around 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's hot.
Yeah. So riding the rail means that once the person was tarred and feathered, he would be forced to straddle a fence rail that would then be hoisted up on the shoulders of some local men who would carry the accused around town on parade.
Okay, got it. So between the 3rd-degree burns, permanent scarring,
Yep.
and humiliation,
Yep.
well, you can bet this is something Rolon Wheeler just didn't take lightly.
I wouldn't think so.
So once he caught wind of the community's intention to tar and feather him, he let it be known if the mob comes, he'll defend himself.
Wheeler heads to the blacksmith shop in the village of Sugar Hill and commissions blacksmith Thomas Draper to turn a large file into a 2-edged knife and then fit it with a handle.
Picture the scene. It's the night of May 11th, 1831, and two mobs are forming.
Got it.
One in the village of Shrewsbury, a second in Sugar Hill. And they intend to meet up in Patch Hollow, right near Rolon Wheeler's house.
The mobs are equipped with jugs of rum, of course, right? Because I can't imagine this is something one does sober.
No, of course not.
They also have buckets of tar and feathers. But the group from Shrewsbury gets lost in the woods, either from a poor sense of direction or getting, just juiced on the rum.
Okay.
So they turn around, they go home. But the group from Sugar Hill do make it to Patch Hollow, and pretty soon they wish they hadn't.
When the group arrives at the field just south of Patch Hollow, they don disguises. Isaac Osborne, he's a foreman from James Rustin's hat shop, is appointed the leader.
All right.
The angry, rum-soaked group marches up the road to Wheeler's house. Then they ask to be allowed inside.
Hey, Wheeler, we're going fishing up at Shrewsbury Pond and need some fire. Help us out.
But Wheeler knows what's going on. He's already secured the door with a rail on the inside, so there's no way someone can get through the front door.
The mob tries to break the door in. They pound and they kick at it. But it won't budge. While some continue to pound on the door, a few others sneak to the side of the house and pry at the corner of the roof, making just enough space to gain entry. That's when Isaac Osborne, James Sherman, and Silas Congdon slip into the house to surprise Wheeler. But the house is dark, and a nasty fight ensues.
It's difficult to see anything more than shadows, but Sherman manages to grab Wheeler by the hair and drag him toward the door. But Wheeler slashes at him with his knife, and soon he's free. Some of the men kick away the rail, blocking the door, and now the others rush in, adding to the dark confusion. Benjamin Brownell is stabbed in the side.
Ooh.
James Sherman is stabbed 14 times before the scuffle is over. Silas Congdon grabs the knife with his bare hand, but Wheeler gives it a twist, cutting out the guts of his palms. Then Isaac Osborne falls across the bed without so much as a whimper.
These guys are now fighting for their lives. And so too is Wheeler, who manages to slip out of his clothes, dive under his bed, lift some floorboards, and slip out into the dark woods.
Oh, man.
Yeah. All the while, the others are still struggling in the dark, not sure who is who anymore.
I can only imagine.
In the melee, Wheeler's wife shrieks and runs out the front door towards her father's house down the road.
The guys grab the body on the bed, thinking it's Wheeler, and they drag it to the floor. But then they realize this man is dead. And peering through the darkness, they see it's not Wheeler, but their appointed leader, Isaac Osborne.
Wow.
The bloodied and wounded group stumble out of the house and head home with caution, considering Wheeler's still out there somewhere.
James Sherman makes his way to the home of Dr. John Fox to get his wounds tended to. Sherman tells the doctor he should rush over to Patch Hollow next because there may be a dead man out there.
And when Dr. Fox arrives at the Wheeler home, he lights a candle and is horrified by what he sees. He'd later describe a cabin completely covered in blood, with the body of Isaac Osborne lying lifeless in a puddle of crimson red. Dr. Fox would recount this scene for many years to come and shudder each time he told the story.
All right, now Wheeler is on the run and naked.
Okay.
He makes a dash to Hartsboro and steals a shirt from the clothesline of Mrs. Horton. Then he finds an empty barn with 2 bundles of rye straw. It's in that barn that he spends the day fashioning a straw mat to cover himself so that evening he can make for his sister's house in Pollitt.
Wheeler spends one night in his sister's house before he's arrested the following day and brought back to Wallingford for trial.
All right, that trial was a big deal.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There was so much interest that they had to move it to the Baptist church to hold everyone. The judge hears all the facts in the case, he hears all the testimonials, and then makes a ruling no one saw coming.
What happened?
Well, Wheeler is free to go.
No charges?
Nothing. The judge rules self-defense.
So what happens to the other guys?
While Joseph Hagar and Reuben Wood are each fined $60, and James Huntoon, James Sherman, and Herman McGells are each fined $40. That's the equivalent of about $1,100 and $750 in fines in today's money.
Oh my God. So after the trial, Rolon Wheeler unites with his wife, and the two leave the area for wagon trains heading west, which brings us back to present day here at Patch Hollow. After the Wheelers left Patch Hollow, no one else wanted to stick around. The gruesome sight, the blood, and the memories were just too much. Soon, each of the 5 houses here were just left behind and never occupied again. Some felt as if this land had been stained. This village vanished.
All right, I'm getting the creeps out here. I can just imagine that somewhere along the trail was Wheeler's house.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if where we're standing, this is where it was literally soaked in blood after that attack.
Maybe.
And I'm not finding anything that looks like a house foundation or a cellar hole, just a few stone walls that let us know that someone did once live here.
Even though it's been almost 2 centuries, we still connect with the past. Think about this. The massacre was born from the rumor mill. Locals believed Wheeler cheated on his wife, so they intended to tar and feather this man. A punishment that was barbaric and getting antiquated even by 1831. Wheeler took a stand against this punishment and made it known if they tried, he intended to fight back. And one man, Isaac Osborne, he paid with his life.
After Wheeler went to court, it seems as though stories of his infidelity were irrelevant.
Right.
Because he walks free and those who attacked him were fined. I guess incidents like these are the reason why we don't tar and feather anyone anymore.
Well, society changes all the time, doesn't it?
It does.
Though we don't tar and feather anymore, there are still plenty of examples where mobs take it upon themselves to pass moral judgments and deliver punishment on those they deem guilty.
Yeah.
You know, from Facebook flames to Twitter trolling. We love pointing at others and passing judgment.
Well, being out here at the vanished village of Patch Hollow may just serve as a reminder that sometimes it's better to mind your own business.
Though minding your own business is a good idea when it comes to the rumor mill, it's a terrible idea when it comes to sharing your stories, experiences, and your legends.
That's why we have our website,
OurNewEnglandLegends.com.
our super secret Facebook group,
I'm not going to tell you where that is, but I bet you could find it on our website.
and you can call or text us anytime on our legend line.
617-444-9683.
We truly love hearing from you guys no matter how you reach out.
We do. And we'd like to thank Dustin Perry for lending his voice acting talents this week. And our theme music is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember, the bizarre is closer than you think.